Hello, everybody, and welcome to my Let's Play of Surviving the Aftermath. It's a city building kind of game where you try to survive in the apocalypse. Kind of a new game that's been slowly being developed, so it's in an early access kind of style, available on the Epic Game Store. It's one I've had my eye on for a while. I picked it up right when it first came out and enjoyed it thoroughly, but they have added a lot of content to the game. So I plan on doing a little let's play here, kind of go through the game, kind of build up our town and see what we end up with here. I'm not sure if I intend to go through this to completion, if there is even a completion, but I do intend to put up a number of videos to give you a good feel for what the game's about and what the gameplay is like. And I'll continue to play while the interest is still there, or until Cyberpunk comes out, which might end up taking up all my time after that. So we'll kind of get started here and then kind of show you what we got going here. First, this is just a wonderful vista here, showing you all the decay of civilization, tilted skyscrapers, and the occasional meteor from the sky. But we'll go into new game here. It's a tutorial. We're not going to do that. Alright, so we basically have all these different selections we make, and based on that, it'll determine our difficulty. So we'll go through these one by one real quick. Environment. There are only a few who remember the spark that started it all. A chain reaction of global catastrophes wipe out most of the planet's population and make people turn against each other. Those who are left must now survive the aftermath in this post-apocalyptic world. So we've got three choices here. Cities are demolished, but nature prevails, so you get more fertile soil. The world is desolate and unforgiving, and the planet is a barren wasteland. So those are your options there. And so what we're going to choose here is we're going to choose the middle option there. Oh, and I'll hover over, as you can see here. Difficulty 8%, 17, and 25. So we're going to choose that, though. Catastrophes. Now, these are interesting because these will occur on a regular basis. And depending on your choice here, they'll occur more frequently or less frequently. But these will do some damage to your settlement in some way or endanger your citizens. So it's always important to be prepared for these to occur. And so based on our choices here, we'll have them occur more or less often. So slowly but surely, modern civilizations crumbled as catastrophes kept swooping across the continent. Cities were destroyed, and the planet itself suffered permanent damage. So again, the worst is past, time to rebuild, only occasional. It's still a dangerous world, but will prevail, or it feels like the apocalypse never ended. Again, we're going to choose the middle option here. Resources. Some had prepared well for the upcoming apocalypse, stockpiling resources for the aftermath. Others scavenged what they could while traveling through the hostile lands. The most unfortunate left the ruined cities with nothing but the clothes on their backs. So we can either be prepared well in advance, everyone scrounged together, or left with barely anything. So we're going to go scrounge together. And then ideology. So this one is a newer one, or at least this wasn't a choice that was available to me when I first played. But basically, there's no survival guide for the post-apocalypse like this. Different people have different ideas on how to survive, with none more right or wrong than the other. Unlocks more options in the tech tree. What kind of leader are you? So of these three, there's a hardy survivalist, colony builder, and wasteland explorer. I'm more of a colony builder type person, so we're going to do that one here. And I'll kind of explain the different choices there and how they pertain to the gameplay. And gatekeeper. So think of this one as like your AI. If you've ever played or seen someone play RimWorld, it's like your director, kind of, tells you or kind of decides what kind of events to throw at you and when. So life is unfair, but sometimes it feels like you're not alone, whether it's an invisible guardian or just pure fate, but it sure feels like someone's watching over us. So we got the architect, lenient and helpful, survivalist, challenging but fair, or chaotic. That could be good or bad. So we're going to go with survivalist. We want to be challenged, so we'll do that. And then this is where you get to choose your specialists. They basically will eventually go out in the world and scavenge, fight, and do all sorts of fun things. So and as you can see, they have a variety of different skills that differ based on their specialty. So you can see there's speed, attack, research, scavenge, and recovery. So Platy here is exclusive. If you have a Paradox account and you've logged into it with the game, you'll get her as an unlockable character. So we're going to go ahead and choose her as our scavenger. We're going to go ahead and choose a fighter. I kind of am partial to Baron here. And then for our scientist, we'll go ahead and choose Kate here. You don't necessarily have to choose the people in that, or one of each. You can choose whatever fits your fancy, but we'll go ahead and do one of each because, again, it has been a while. I haven't really played it as much lately, so I want to have the ability to react to what we need. So click continue. So visual, this is where we can set up our flag. So we'll go ahead and choose this color because that's the color I'll be using going forward on my videos to denote my contribution to the channel for breaking the stream. So I like that. Now this is a platypus that you also get when you do that registration with Paradox, so you could choose that. But I think for this color, I like this in our scheme a little bit better. So we'll hit continue. We can change our colony name here. So let's find something. Brightway, Adenaport, Adenaport. We can do Adenaport. That's fine. And then our colony motto. So I'm a colony builder. So let's see what we get. Rather death than dishonor. Rebuild and prosper. Yeah, I can go with that. I can dig it. All right, and then this is just a summary of all our choices here. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and start the game. It's going to take a little while to load up, so we'll go ahead and discuss some of the things about the game early. So when you first start out, you basically will start out with nothing except your specialists. One of the first things you'll want to build is a campsite, and that will allow you to store your resources and kind of plot out where your people are going to live. And then once you do that, you'll fire a flare into the air to get colonists into the camp, and then that's when you start the actual building of the world and everything. And your first goal is to get obviously your people up and running and sustained, and then rebuild the gate so that you can get your people out into the world. So this is again what we start with here. We have nothing currently. This is where our gate is going to be. You can see we don't get much in the way of zoom, so you can't go down and see their happy little faces and such. But we'll go ahead and unpause it until it plops resources our way. Oh, I'm sorry. It only does that when we do our campsite. My apologies. So this is our build menu. I should go over the menu and options here. Build menu, so you can see all the different options from roads to food, water, all this stuff. So you can build a variety of things. So the first thing we're going to build is that campsite there. So let's go ahead and do that. R to rotate. Build it as close to the front of this gate area as possible. So that's our campsite. Normally it would get built by somebody, but in this particular case, this gets built automatically. So we'll see that shortly. But I'll go through some of the other menus. So as you can see at the top, all our different resources. Our current happiness is 0, so it's a big unhappy face, but that'll change once we get colonists. These right here represent your constant resources. In other words, food is stored and then constantly eaten. But your water and your energy are produced consistently, and if you're not meeting your colony's needs, then you'll have a detriment. For instance, water. If you don't have enough water for your colonists, they will eventually die. And generally you need 1 unit of water per colonist, so make sure that you're prepared if your colony is going to grow to have the water you need for that. Energy is something we'll do later, so we'll go into that. And then these are your basic resources, and then these are the more advanced resources. These advanced resources typically early on will be scavenged, and eventually you'll find them. So same with the tools and the clothes that can eventually be produced, and then medicine and fuel. And then we'll get into science points and currency later. And then at the bottom here, you got your build menu. You can change the radio, some radio stations if we want to do that. Statistics, if you need to know all the different bits. I'm sure this will be useful later. Your research tree, which we'll go into in more depth later, but you've got 4 different categories. And you can see the basic skills that are available there. And then finally you have your overlays, so if you need to find things, we can go over that. But actually I'll show you the resources, which is important. So right now we've got berries, which are food that can be gathered by people, planks, metal, concrete, and concrete. So yeah, so these are places that we can gather from originally non-renewable resources, as it were, so that we can eventually build what we need to get sustained. So, and then you can see there's all sorts of different ones here, but we'll go ahead and turn that off. All right, with that, let's go ahead and unpause, and our campsite is complete. So we got our campsite. You can see the resources here. They're stacked up as boxes. So what they'll do when we go to build something new is they'll actually pick up these boxes, bring it over to the site that's going to be built, and when they have enough, they start the construction. So the campsite is also where we do that shoot the flare I was talking about, which we'll do shortly here. Let's go ahead and do some basic laying down of shelter here. So we got the emergency shelter. Go ahead and do that. This is your basic housing here, so go ahead and do it right up on the road here. No, we'll do it here. Okay. So that's your basic housing. It's got 6 slots, so it'll... Oh, let me do it in the build menu here. It's got 6 slots, so you can have 6 colonists living in there. There's a minor happiness penalty, obviously, because it's just a tent. And colonists are less likely to reproduce in cramped shelters like this. So this one is the smaller version, less efficient. Doesn't require any concrete, though. But it also houses 2 colonists and does not have that penalty to reproduce. So once you get to later games, if you use emergency shelters, you're not going to grow your colony as quickly as if you're using tents. So that being said, I will build 2 emergency shelters to give us room for growth. And let's see, how do we want to do this? Like so, right? Okay, so we'll do that right now. That'll be our early on thing. We'll also need some basic resources, so let's go ahead and get those laid down. Just making sure. Yeah. So stockpile is exactly what it sounds like. It stores things, but it also serves as a way of gathering planks and concrete. So we'll show you how that economy works. We'll need food storage for berry gathering. We'll go ahead and pluck it there. And then we're going to need water. So the water collector will probably be a high priority here. Should have... Where do we have water? There we go. We got some water over here. Do we have the ability to build there, though? Okay, that's a big old pot of pollution. We got water up here, so we may not be able to utilize that kind of water there. So, all right. Well, we'll go ahead and do a water well. It takes a lot more concrete. Let's check our overlay, actually. Water, 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 water. Yeah, that does look like water to do that with. Can we do a water collector anywhere around here? No. Nope. I don't think we can build that far out, so... Okay. Yeah, I think it's too far away from our camp right now, so we'll get to do the other water. So water is, obviously, like I said, constantly produced. You do have some storage, 300 in your core camp. This is a more efficient one here because it gives you 14. But the water well gives you 10. It just takes a lot more concrete, so if I could have avoided it, I would have liked to do that. And these two are just storage solutions. So we'll do a water well, and as you can see, it has the water drops, so based on where you put it, it'll have an efficiency. So we'll go ahead and plop a water well down here, I think. That's 46%. Is there something that's better efficiency? There we go. We got 10 here. Okay. So go ahead and plop that down. Okay. So we got water. We got basic gathering resources. The only other thing I think we need is a scrapper. So we'll go ahead. We'll actually wait on the scrapper because right now we won't need the metal as much. So, all right. With that, I think we're ready. So we're going to go ahead and fire off the flare. Oh, while while we wait for the flare to trigger, we'll go ahead and change you to a high priority. Make sure we get that water going right away. So with the flare, the inhabitants. Prompted by the specialist signal flare, the rest of your group arrives at the prepared campsite. Despite all the hardships ahead, it's time to rebuild and turn this hostile place into a home. So, as you can see now, we have all our citizens. And you can see they have all got names and everything, and you can rename them. They've got contamination, which is based on polluted food and environment, and health needs. So right now they're homeless, but they're going to fix that. And then you can see that. So they've got lots of data here. Our specialists here are going to need a gate in order to go out into the world map, which I'll show you while we do this. But let's get the speed up one. Okay, so we'll go do that while they build the world. This is our world map here. As you can see, there's basic resources in the nearby areas. You basically travel on this in a strategic manner, so it's like hexes, and you get so many movements per period of time. And then you could go and explore points of interest, like this museum here, which is where you get your research points or science points. You got a farm for meat, which you have 35 units there, and 49 units of plastic from a camping site. So you can go through and harvest from there. You can also start exploring the world, and out in the world are going to be more of these kind of sites, as well as bandits and things like that. So looks like some desolation up north for sure. Well, the south seems a little calmer, so we might explore that. I don't know if this is explorable. It just has a weird view, so we'll get into that some more. But once we get that gate built, then these three people will be able to go out into the world and explore and fight and do all that. So we'll jump into that once we get our colony in a steady place here. So, all right. So as you can see, they're gathering the resources from the campsite, and they're plopping them into the right spots. Okay, stockpile is completed. So now the way this gathering works in this game is you basically have to direct them to an area. So you move the work area. In this case, the stockpile can gather, planks and stone or concrete. So you can kind of roll them around the map and see what we have. So we kind of want to build up quickly, so we'll go ahead and choose the closest area. Eventually they will run out, so they won't have anything to gather. And that's when you'll have to make sure your production's in place to compensate for that. So we'll go ahead and finish that. Food storage. Once that's completed, which it will be shortly, halfway done now, we'll go ahead and set up to gather some berries. For food, as you can see right now, we've got canned food, fruit, candy bars, and jerky currently. So that's currently what we're eating, and eventually we'll gather berries, but as you can see, they're a limited resource. So construction complete there for this shelter, and construction finished for the food storage. So let's move the work area there. We'll go ahead and get these. Can we get all three? We can't, so we'll get these two for now. They're building that shelter. This is going to be done here. Should be important, even though I set it as a high priority, huh? Okay. 3 constructions finished, so now everybody's got a home, so that's good. And we're gathering resources now, so we got a decent amount of concrete. We'll need to probably get our metal going now, so let's go ahead and set up a scrapper. Scrapper works just like our other guys, so we'll kind of set up a construction or a resource row here. That pollution. Alright, so finally completed our water well, so our water is being produced. We were eating out of our storage, so you see we're down to 100 water left in our storage. Otherwise people would have started dying of thirst. So with that, let's see, am I able to build anywhere reasonable now? Nope, still can't build that. So we'll build another well. It'll use up more of our concrete, but definitely going to be worth it. Oh yeah, we got to build. So you can't build too near your other resources, so you got to build somewhere else. So there was something that was a 9, 10 here. Alright, so we'll go ahead and build that. Okay. Scrapper. We'll move the work area. So we'll go ahead and get the metal scraps here. Okay. And as you can see, when they gather the scraps, every 4 pieces of scrap turns into 3 metal, and don't remember what that resource is, so we'll have to figure that out. But yeah, so we'll get basic resources out of it as we gather. You'll see the same for our stockpile. No, those are just straight up gathers. So we got our scrapper in place. We'll need to get plastics in place. So that's our recycler, which will turn 4 of the raw resources for plastic into fiber and plastic here. So, and we have the resources for it. Let's see. The question is, do I want to go? Yeah, let's go ahead and get our resources. Okay. Get that going. And just for visuals, do that. Create some dirt roads just so I can help with the planning. And we'll take a look at what we got here. We got some unhappy people, but that's expected. We don't have all their needs served here. Where's my plastic? There you go. So we'll go ahead and gather from there once this is completed here. And then we'll have to start setting up some renewable resources here. So we got our recycler in place. And where is it? There we go. Move work area. There we go. Alright, so now we got basic resources coming in. We'll go ahead and start planning out our next few resources here. So I've already got the other water well put down, so once that's finished we'll be good. Can't do fishing huts because there's no water. 2 deposits are depleted. I think it was from this, right? Nope, berries are good, so... Oh, it's my scrap. There we go. Alright, so we got to move that work area here. Go ahead and do that. Okay. Take a look here. So we're going to build a trapper to build... Let's see. Provides venison, huh? Okay. So we got to put him in the woods as well to improve efficiency. So we can get 84, I saw. So we'll do that. Just speeds up how quickly he gets his resources there. Needs to be in a highly wooded area, so that'll be useful there. We got all our gatherers going. If you ever want to see what your colonists are doing, you can check here. Shows you our workers and our carriers. So carriers are all the people just going out and scavenging right now. So eventually we're going to have to build the gate, which is here, and I'll probably do that sooner rather than later once I get at least basic food in place, and I'll probably want to get basic lumber in place as well. So we'll continue to gather our resources here, and then we can go out in the world map and get some additional things. So, as a matter of fact, let's take a look at what we need for this one. Okay, so lumberyard requires a bunch of lumber, and then the forester is the one that regrows trees. So, all right, so. Of the two, I'm going to build the... Let's see. Go ahead and build them here. Okay. So, yeah, you see the unhappy faces? Ooh, pink goo. That's pollution, yeah. She's got a little more contamination. As you can see, they're resting poorly because they're in these tents. So they're not going to be happy with that. So we'll eventually have to deal with that. But Alright, construction complete on that second water well, so now we're going to be storing some water. We're making 20 right now. Go ahead and get rid of this here. Are we gathering? Oh, it's because they went to sleep, isn't it? Yep. So now they should be out gathering again. Let's see. So this is the one that needs the work. I need that concrete. Alright, so we got our trapper down. So our trapper here will, let's see, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh, there's the info. Huh? There you go. So Angela here's our trapper, so she's going to go and get us some food as we go. I hate that they're walking through the pink here. There's planks near the pink. Okay. So if you click on this here, once she starts working, you'll see that percentage go up there at that 84% efficiency. So it can be 16% faster. But all right, now we got our forester here. So we're gonna make sure they forest up this area here. Works for me. Because we're gonna then build a lumber yard. Actually, we do it here. There we go. And that should be the last of our builds prior to the gate, so make sure we have enough resources there. Oh, and I will probably want to build, so this outhouse is a new thing. Allows you to keep your hygiene up. So hygiene's one of the new things that they've added to the game for sure. So we'll go ahead and build one of those so our colonists have a place to relieve themselves. We'll have insufficient materials for it. Yeah, lumber. Okay. Meanwhile, alright. So, gotta keep gathering those planks here. So, we've got more planks over here, so we may switch over here once we get the concrete up. 15, which I think is just enough to build our gate here. Gate 15, yep, so we'll have that. We should have some other sources for concrete as well. Let's go ahead and hit the overlays. Resources. So berries, plastic. So blue is concrete. Yeah, we have some concrete there. So we'll go ahead and deplete that out then, and we'll go back to our normal. All right. As a matter of fact, I might switch them over after the next run here. All right. And you've got all but the lumber. Planks are depleted. So we'll let them gather what they have there. There we go. All right, and then let's go ahead and move the work area. We'll do the 3 closest here. Alright, so now this is interesting. So a colonist has received a vision. So this is one of our first little events here. Visions of gloom. So, an older colonist claimed to bear grave news is brought to you. They are shaking and in clear dismay. I saw it. A bright wave of destruction. It will hit tonight. You try to ask for more guidance, but the colonist has already passed out from the stress. It's up to you to decide how to react to this news. So, a lot of times you have a choice here. You're going to spend resources in the hopes of getting a positive outcome or a less negative outcome. Sometimes your choice is simply based on the resources you have. and so you'll make that choice that way. You can also ignore it, generally meaning you'll get the worst result, but sometimes it is the best result too. So events are going to be like this. You're generally going to have something, and something bad or good could happen as a result. So in this case, I think I got a decent amount of plastic going, so we're going to prepare for fallout, I think. So you're led to believe was a warning of upcoming fallout with disastrous effects. You call your colonists to safety and start reinforcing the buildings. Before the job can even begin proper, you see black smoke and flames rising from the emergency shelter. We were wrong, so it was a fire. Oh, so we need to repair. I don't know what fire does, but we'll see. It's slowly depleting the health. Somebody repair. And it's going to burn down, isn't it? Well, people are going to be homeless if they don't... Yep. Alright, 4 colonists are homeless. So we got to clear that. And then, what do we need for that emergency shelter again? Okay. Gonna need more lumber for sure. Oh well, that's the way it goes, right? Okay. So that being said, we've got everything set up here. We'll see. We'll go a little bit at speed 3 because I want to get some things built here. And we need all that lumber that they're supposed to gather here. The planks. There we go. I should get some things built. Get this sped along here, and then get things built up. So yeah, so that was an example of one of the events that can occur. They definitely get worse as you go along. So I think it's taken a little easy on us because it's early on in our development. So all right, so the emergency shelter's getting built, and now the lumberyard's getting built. So what we're running into now is a lack of workers because we need workers to work most of these stations. So we're going to have some balancing issues until we get more colonists in. Alright, so emergency shelter's built. So people aren't homeless anymore. So we can move our work area to here. I think we'll be fine. Start cutting around trees in this area. Okay. So go a little bit more at speed 3 to gather the resources. Alright. Because yeah, we're going to need quite a lot of lumber and stone, or concrete. I gotta stop calling it stone. And then we're going to get the plastics in, so yeah. So we'll have it probably in another day. We'll have what we need to rebuild the gate. So, but actually, with that being said, it looks like we're at time, so I'm going to call it here. Thank you again for joining me for this adventure here in Surviving the Aftermath. I'm looking forward to doing some more videos on this. I want to kind of showcase kind of what the game's about, get to some of the later stuff, show you the research and all that. And we'll keep playing until it's either no more fun or until I have something more pressing, like the new Cyberpunk. Also, if you've been following my other videos, I will be continuing the Conquest of Elysium series. We're going to do a new campaign with the Burgmeister. Is currently going on, and you'll be able to see more of my Conquest of Elysium videos on our site, Breaking the Stream. So, as always, if you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll be more than happy to continue developing content that I think you guys will enjoy. With that, I bid you adieu.